Okay. Good evening, and thank you for joining in. Today, we are doing one more of our series called E-Meet Your Design and Fashion School, where you get to interact with the top management of each school, keep your options open to private and design and fashion schools, and save money by applying only to a few schools of your choice, not a whole range of schools. So the idea is that you just select a few schools that you connect with, and apply to those. So if you missed our previous webinar on design and fashion schools to consider in 2023, please click on this link. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this presentation deck which you're seeing. I'm going to share that in the chat box so you can get access to this presentation. Just click on this link and you will get that webinar. All right. Some of you have been asking me about creating portfolios for Indian and abroad universities. We're doing a webinar on this next week for the benefit of our students, because some of the schools are asking for a portfolio. So we're doing a webinar. You should be able to attend that. If not, you could also just click on this link and watch the previous one we've had some time ago. Coming down to today's webinar, we have MIT Institute of Design, but we have the Indore campus, which is affiliated to Avantika University. So the degree is awarded by Avantika University, but for all practical purposes, this is MIT Institute of Design, and this is their Indore campus. So we have Ms. Purnima Prakash, who's the assistant director. Purnima is a postgraduate in MBA in marketing and has 12 years of experience with various industries, including print media, healthcare, and education. She's worked with organizations like Times of India, India Today, Tribune newspapers, Munjal University, and a few others during her stint. Sorry, I'm just going to mute. Okay, request all of you to mute. Okay. Yeah, so during a stint with the Tribune, she was the head of Tribune in education and has been instrumental in launching the school edition, and had got the opportunity to interact with various education industry experts. Yeah. So she's had 12 years of experience in this industry and understands the nuances very well, including the expectations from professionals today. So if you all are interested in applying to MIT ID, the application link is here, and the information page, the school is listed on DQH, so you can click on that link for a little more information about the school, and you can also apply from the link either from DQH or from this link here. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing now and hand it over to Purnima. So Purnima, thank you so much for joining in. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say about MIT Indore.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dion, for having me here. And thank you, students, for patiently, preparing yourself for this 1 hour session that we're going to have. I assure you, this will not be a session where you feel just another marketing session or just another session where, we are talking about, or we are kind of talking only about the university or of our university, about us. But no, I want this session to be a session where you get a little knowledge, where you kind of understand what you as a student, have your criteria as when you decide a university. not necessarily MIT ID Indore Campus. It is very important for students to really make a very, I'll say, clear and a conscious decision. Because if you do not do that, what happens in the end, you say, I made a wrong choice, or this is not what I wanted to do. And in the end, you kind of regret it. And that regret kind of stays for a very long time. Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, so Purnima, your voice is not very clear. Is there something you could do about it?
Okay, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Am
I audible now?
Yes, it's much better.
Better. All right. So, yeah, so students, all I want is that you must understand that this session is going to be one of those sessions where you understand what should your criteria be, what should your points be when you're selecting a university. Of course, I'll be sharing you about my own university, my own campus, what offerings does it have, what is the positive point, negative point. But trust me, this is one of the sessions where you understand what should your options be. And at the same time, it is very important for you to know what is available in the universe. So maybe just an example, you go to a restaurant, okay? There's a menu right in front of you. You are probably presented with 10 dishes. And then you have to decide among those 10 dishes, okay, what is it that you can order? But only if you realize there was an 11th and 12th one, which you did not know about and could be or could not be good for you. So likewise, you must know what are the options available for you and is in design universities or in your education otherwise, and among them you're supposed to decide and choose. Yeah, so as students, everybody is going to talk to you, tell you, but you have to be very conscious in understanding what you have to go for. It has to be your conscious decision. So just give me a second, I will share my screen and the presentation. Just give me a second. So I'll very quickly take you through this presentation. And after that, I would like to have as many questions, as you can ask me. So my screen is visible to everybody?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Great. So yes, MIT ID Indore Campus. This is the main building of ours where you would be, all your classes are held, all our labs are there. This is the main building where every official activity takes place. This is a 60-acre long big campus. So very briefly about MIT Pune, because of course our existence is through MIT Pune. So MIT Pune is a 40-year-old group and has got these many 4 universities under it. It has got 80 institutes, 4,000 plus faculty, 60,000 plus alumni, and 1 lakh plus students. Now, when you talk about MIT Group started its design wing in the year 2006. And that design wing is particularly known as ID. So wherever you have MIT ID, it is this MIT ID. It is, specifically dedicated to design. Right now, we have footprints at 4 locations: Indore, Shillong, Kandy, and Delhi. And when you talk about the academic synergy and the placements, they're going to be common between the Loni campus, Indore campus. Of course, Shillong is starting, so we won't be in full-fledged, with all the specializations, but yes, some of them. So yes, now again, like I was talking to you, as students, it is very important for you to understand what should your criteria be when you're deciding on a university. Now, one of the important criteria is faculty. Now, I'm going to take you briefly through our faculty. Kirti Trivedi sir, he's the pioneers, or the first Indian to have done his MDes from Royal College of Arts, London. And he was the one who started with the, or who made the curriculum of the IDC, of communication design. So it is very important to understand we have such veterans in the industry, who are with us right now. He not only prepares the curriculum or the entire framework, but at the same time he interacts with the students. It's not like you just get to see him, okay, he's there present, but you don't get to talk to him, you don't get to interact with him. He interacts with students, so it is a great opportunity for you to interact with him, meet him, talk to him. Okay. Then of course we have Sukanta Kundu sir. He's ex-NIT and 30+ experience in industry. He's been with us for a very long time, and he's so experienced that you'll really love working with him. Then we have Sanjay Jain sir. He is the founder director for MIT ID Pune. Okay, now he's with us. He's of course ex-IDC, and these people are not, you might just look at him and see so old and you what, but then their energy, their aura is so different that you will not feel that, and you would just love understanding the kind of experience they have, the kind of projects they have with themselves. When you do that, you'll learn so much. So we have Raghav Pandya sir. You all must have heard of Hero Honda Splendor. Yeah, he was one of the designers for Hero Honda Splendor. Then we have Hemant Kaushik sir. He has been the award. I mean, he has been 3-4 times awardee of Kalidas Academy. Then we have Pramod Rizwarkar sir. He's the dean for the School of Design.
Do you want to also watch?
Okay. So yeah. Okay, pedagogy. Does anybody understand the word pedagogy? I think, can they unmute themselves and talk, if that's okay?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, or they could also type it out in the chat box.
Yeah, either of the two. Let me check the chat box. Okay. The method of teaching. Great. Yes, excellent. So it is, and this is second most important criteria when you as a student should look into while selecting. Because see, you talk about project-based learning. I think that's overrated now. That's, that is something that you hear everywhere for all the universities, project-based learning. But what exactly is project-based learning? Is it that, by the end of the semester, you're given a project, you work on a project, and yes, you have a project-based learning, everything is taught to you? No. The real project-based learning is you begin with a project. You are handed over with a project in the beginning. And while making the project, you understand the concepts. You understand the points. Okay, this is where, this is a particular concept and this is how it is supposed to be done. Because this way, it will not only be remembered, but it will stick to you for a very long time. You'll always, never forget this point because you were working on that point. Yeah. So that is actually the real project-based learning. Now, one of the important things with us is blended learning. Now, blended learning is in two ways. Of course, is some project which in UI UX, which really interests you and you feel I would want to, kind of explore that. So there are two ways. Either you take a project on UI UX, work on that and learn. Second, in your communication design, you see how can you blend that UI UX in the communication part, because everything is interlinked and everything can be, changed. Like one single topic could also be used by a product designer, could also be used by a communication designer, UX designer, animation designer, everything. So this is blended learning. Now, second part of blended learning is if you feel you need some understanding of maybe engineering, maybe some of your project requires coding or some little sense of, softwares, understanding of a software, you can do that as well. So this is called blended learning, because trust me, in today's time, you cannot have strict hardbound boundaries to learn. Learning has to be interdisciplinary, learning has to be, blended. If that's not happening, there is something wrong. You cannot be restricted to your own zone. Yeah, nothing works in silos these days. Now, there's a point called experiential learning. Of course, I'll talk to you about that in next further slides. Now, student projects. these are some of our student projects: industrial design, then we have lifestyle accessory design, then we have communication design. This is a line of a poem that they have represented it digitally. Then this is UI UX design. Student achievements. Student achievements. Why I'm making you go through this is because, not that, yes, of course, it's a proud thing for us that our students have won so many prizes. But at the same time, it is very important to to participate, to be a part of a competition, because there is this whole lot of different energy that you can, that you interact with, that you come across. You kind of, get a lot of ideas. You kind of meet a lot of people. So winning, of course, is, I will say, a byproduct. The primary objective is to really connect with people, to know what's happening, to interact with people, because then you are out of your own zone. You are able to see beyond. Maybe you couldn't, you couldn't have thought of an idea that probably another student has. So it is very important to understand that you have to participate in competition. And then if you have that kind of, thought process, you might as well win. So yeah, these are few of the competitions. Now programs. Okay, now BDES, we have industrial design. Industrial design, of course, it has product design. Industrial design is a bigger umbrella under which it has product design. Communication design, of course, under it has visual design and others. User experience design, interaction design, transportation design, interior space and furniture design, retail design, animation design, and fashion design. So these are the specializations. But before that, I'd like to take you through these 4 years with us. Okay. So first year is the foundation year. Now, foundation year, what happens? You will be apprised about all these specializations that we have with us. You would be made to, of course, work on projects, like I said, because we believe in projects starting from day one. So day one, you will be starting with projects. By day one, I doesn't mean that your orientation, you'll be given a project, but of course, you'll be working on projects. And then so you kind of understand in real terms what are your likes, dislikes, what exactly, should you choose. There are students who will say that I am very sure I want to go for industrial design or product design. But what happens when you start with your foundation year and when you start working on the projects, eventually you say, no, I don't think so. This is something that I'd really like to pursue as a career. But yes, I think I'd like to change. So what happens when you start to work in real terms, or when you start to work on projects or prototypes? That's when you realize, is it something that I really like, or I want to pursue it through and through, or, I would want to change. So foundation year is one entire year given to you to decide as to what you like and what you don't. Of course, there'll be people helping you, supporting you, telling you. There'll be many ways to where you decide. Okay. Second year will be the discipline core. You start working on your specialization that you have chosen. Third year will be a little advanced, where on those lines only, on your own specializations, but you work on a little difficult projects, a more complex ones. And then last is your fourth year, where you go for your capstone project. Now, there are 3 ways in which you can go for your capstone project. One, of course, under the industry. Second would be under the faculty. And third, where you say, I have a project of my own that I'd like to pursue. And of course, if the faculty feels that this is a project that you can pursue for 6 months, you can go ahead and do that as well. Yeah. So, okay, when do you declare your specialization? You declare your specialization by the end of your first year, which is your foundation year. So foundation year, you get to decide, you get to choose, you get to experiment. That, okay, this is what I like, this is what I want to go for, let me try a project in that, or this. But then by the end of that year, you kind of decide that this is what I want to go for. The second year is when you choose your specialization. And for MDes students, everything goes in the semester wise. So for the entire first year, it's like first semester. And preferably for MDes, it is better if you kind of decide from your first semester that this is what I want to go for. But nevertheless, if you still want, in the second semester, you can go ahead and, Okay, the difference between interaction and user experience. So largely, if you talk about user experience, interaction is a part of user experience only, because user experience is a very bigger umbrella, and it talks about it's user experience, and within user experience you talk about interaction, how you interact. It could be in any way and form. So I'll take all the questions maybe by the end. Let me just finish this PPT very quickly. Okay, so like I said, all these 4 years get divided in MDiv in semester wise: first semester, second semester, third semester, and fourth semester. The fourth semester you have your capstone project beyond academics. So this is one of the very important okay. All right, I'll be taking the questions 5 minutes, students. Just 5 minutes. So iConnect is again one of the important takeaways at Avantika University, because what happens, people say we are in Ujjain, Indore highway, so I don't know how will we be connected, and I don't know if we get to interact with industry. We are not in tier 1 city. But trust me, students, even when you're there in tier 1 cities, you do not get that opportunity to interact with the industry like you get here. You might be surrounded by industry, but you actually getting an opportunity to interact with them is separate or different to really be, interacting with them. So at Avantika, every week we have industry experts. We have experts from top end companies like Google, IBM, BCG. We also have experts from startups. We also have experts from like the people who have started their entrepreneurs' own work. Why? Because there can be students of all kinds. You say, I want to work in the industry. There might be students who say, no, I would want to start up something of my own. Or, you would want to probably go in a startup and work. So you must have an experience of all kinds. And if you see in the image, none of the sessions are a typical session where there is a formal session where you're sitting on a chair and a table and across. No, this is all informal sessions we have, because the idea behind these sessions is that you learn, you interact, you talk to them, exchange your ideas, exchange the experiences, learn what's happening in industry, and accordingly, decide, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is where I was going wrong, or this is where I need to change my thought process, or this is, what I need to follow. So always understand that it is important as students to open up, to talk, to engage, because this will help you the most. And for designers, this is, I think, the basic, that you must not have any boundaries. Okay, I was talking to you about experiential learning. So experiential learning is something where you are experiencing something, Of course, there are past experiences by which you learn and you kind of improve. But then here, when we talk about experiential learning, there's a segment called Samagati, under which students go out. We take them on a educational tour, and they kind of meet and interact with a lot of people. So we have taken them to Rajasthan, Barefoot College of Telonia, where they got to interact with women who were 50 plus age, and they were, illiterate, but they were told how to prepare solar lamps, and they would talk to another, people, illiterate women from Philippines, Indonesia, Africa. They would come to our country, they would meet these women, and they were also taught how to prepare these solar lamp, and then they would go back to their country and kind of teach others. So this is a different ecosystem of learning, of educating, yeah. And you kind of meet them, you kind of talk to them, you see their problems, you see their lifestyle. So there's a lot of learning that happens. Students pick up projects based on them as well. Very quickly, okay, these are some of the functions, because we have students from 19 states. So probably you might be aware of one festival, not of others, but here everybody together celebrates all the festivals, and it's like one big family. And as a university, specifically for the Indore campus, we are a very exclusive and a very progressive university, where we feel the more the students talk, the more get their ideas, the better it is. We really encourage students to do all these things. So everything that you see on the screen here is all done by students, whether it's the Pride Day celebration or Ganesh Chaturthi, Navratri, Dashera, everything, it's all by students, yeah. So again, these cultural fest that we have, everything, sports fest, Onam, placements. I'm sure this is something that you'd be keenly waiting So this, of course, are some of the figures. We have 450 plus companies who would come for placements. 27 lakhs is the highest, 8.5 is the average. These are some of the top recruiters, whether it is BCG, Google, OLX, Microsoft, Hero, Think, Accenture, Deloitte, Daimler Benz. But I will say, students, my idea is different. You have all these companies, you have great packages, but trust me, if you run after them, I might have a company come over and you might be sitting across for the interview and you might not crack it. And you will feel bad that, I did had an option, but couldn't get through. And, so you should actually prepare yourself as a designer. You should say that, okay, what is it that I am lacking as a designer? And if your focus is absolutely on yourself and on your knowledge, on your understanding, I think then there is no stopping. Even if you're not from, or even if you have not been able to answer the question that the interviewer is asking you, but you have that spark, you have that energy, trust me, the interview will be more happy to take you, because the idea is that the person knows, okay, I can train this person. I know that the person has spark. So always focus on learning, always focus on growing, skill development. International collaboration, this is just a handful of international collaborations that we have here. Because of COVID, of course, we weren't doing it until last year. This year onwards, it started. There's a criteria, the number of credits you have, your CGPA, and whichever specialization you want to take, you can go ahead and go for the international collaboration and go for admission process. So yes, this is the admission process. Our forms are already out, and you can fill out forms. Then there will be an entrance exam. Most likely that will be offline. And then there will be a studio and a PI test that will be conducted one day. And then you will be given an offer letter. If you accept the offer, you get you pay the fees and you get the selection. But then this is when you fill that, this is the procedure for that, which is design aptitude test. You will be eligible for all the campuses, which I showed you earlier. Now, Indore campus conducts its own exam, which is design scholarship test. The forms will be out in the month of November. The exam would be in December. As per that, you will be eligible for a scholarship ranging from 2 lakh to 50,000, depending on the score that you receive in the DST examination. And this scholarship, again, I'm repeating, this scholarship will only be eligible for the Indore campus. Not that you are paid for DST and you want the scholarship at the Pune campus. That will not be possible. It will be only for this campus. Okay. Campus. So this presentation was only to make sure that you also have an understanding of what our campus is about, and you can probably ask your questions better. So now I'll be taking all the questions. If you have any, you can always write it in the chat box, or you can ask me. So, all right, I'll be taking one by one. So interaction and between interaction design and user experience design. There, of course, there is a difference, but then if you want, you can absolutely, take your interaction course separately, and you can take your user experience course separately. But then interaction design is a more larger window where you talk about how you interact. Now, even while I am talking to you through this, there is an app that I'm using, but before that app, I opened my laptop and, I have probably put on the charger. So interaction is the touch points that you're interacting with. It's a more bigger umbrella to understand how a human will interact with its objects. Could be, of course, through an app, or otherwise, maybe like, for example, you go to a cafe or a tea cafe or a coffee. Then what are your interaction points? You first of all open the door, then you sit on the chair, and you kind of see the ambience. So interaction design talks about largely the entire interaction that you have. Okay. All right. Then we have, isn't a film and video design course there? Okay, this is a part of animation design. So definitely we do have a course in BDS program, which is under animation design. Then could you give some more info on that exam? So that exam, okay, the date that has been given is 29th January, but most likely it will be postponed and it will be conducted in the month of April. It is yet to be out, but yes, for now the date is 29th January, and the forms are already out. You can appear for the, you can fill the forms. The forms are for 3,000 rupees. And while you fill for DAT examination, you will be eligible for all the 3 campuses that I mentioned: Pune Loni campus, MIT ID Indore campus, and the Shillong campus. Okay. Once you fill the DAT exam, is there anything specifically that you want to ask me for DAT? Please go ahead and ask. Okay, about the integrated masters, yes. So when you go for your BDS program, it's 4 years. And when you go for your master's program, it's 2 years. So it's 6 years. But when you opt for a MDS integrated program, then only in your 5 years, you'll be getting a master's degree. That will not be online. No, it will be offline. And the centers will be mentioned to you. Is MIT that, ADT and MIT? Okay, okay. So MIT ID Loni campus is a part of it, but the MIT ID Alandi campus is not a part of DAT. It is affiliated by Pune University, and the exam has to be filled through CAT. That is different. Now MIT WPU, of course, is a part of MIT group, but in the presentation I precisely mentioned that when you see MIT ID, wherever ID is mentioned, that is precisely for the design university. I mean, for the design course. So MIT started its ID wing so that it specializes in design. ID is the Institute of Design. So WPU does have a design program, but not as detailed as we have, because like I said, it started specifically for design. Branch specialization selected in which year? At the time admission or after first year? For your bachelor's, you will have to, you will get 1 year to decide your specialization, and you will be told in detail about the specializations in your foundation year. And only after you finish your foundation year, you have to decide. But for master's, you have to decide in the beginning only. Yes, if there's something, and maybe you in the first semester you might still get some chance to change, but it is kind of advised or better to select your specialization in the beginning only for your masters. Also, the entrance exam date 29th is clashing with another exam. They would be yes, Mrinalini, they definitely will be a change. That's what we're looking at. So you will be definitely told about the same. That doesn't hinder me from trying to conduct. No, you can absolutely go for animation design, and in animation you will be told about the concept behind film, and the film designing and the video designing. So that will absolutely not hinder you in any which way. You can go ahead, you can learn, and probably you will get a more clear understanding as to what you want to get into. Okay, the types of questions asked in that. Okay, so maybe we can have a session on how to crack that, or the sample exam and everything, papers could be discussed. Because this session I will not be able to tell you. Yes, there's part A and part B. Part A is, of course, your logical reasoning, and part B is your drawing and designing part. Also, we will be accepting the USEED and SEED scores. So if you are appearing for that exam, it will help us. What is the procedure for applying DST? Okay, for DST, we will be launching we'll be starting with our application form in the month of November. From 1st November, our DST forms will be available. It will be told to your respective center heads, and you can all, of course, ask them. Yes, we do have Mercedes-Benz coming home for placements. I think students, you have to understand that design is a very, very big concept, or a very big profile. And a designer is required in all the fields and for one single thing. So probably if you are talking about designing a car, an interaction designer is also required. A UI UX designer is also required. A communication designer is also required. A product designer is of course required. And a transportation designer is required. And even among that, you will have even sub designers. So don't think that if I have IBM or Mercedes or BCG, I don't think so. I have a role, only transportation designer will be required. No, all kinds of designers are required. Understand? Because these are some of the companies which, which kind of have A to Z working. Yeah. I think Dion wants to speak something.
Yeah, because just to build up on this, Purnima, so when we used to work in General Motors, all right, we used to work on all their departments, and the design department had specifically fashion designers as well, right?
Yeah.
Because the interiors, the trim, all of that requires fashion design. So you're absolutely right. There's a host of designers that goes in to build a car as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, when you want to study hardware design, depending if it is related to transportation, you can opt for transportation design. And if you want to opt for general, so that's why we have a program called industrial design. We're not writing product, because industrial design is a bigger umbrella under which the product design comes in. So if you really want to understand how are the hardware generally made, you can opt for industrial design, and you'll get to experience an array of hardwares that you can prepare, and you will be preparing the prototype as well in our campus. Is this scholarship only for first year? It's for first year only, but we do have scholarship which will be for all 4 years. It's available on our websites. Depending on your marks and your scores, you can avail those scholarships. Ma'am, also okay. Okay, I've answered your question. If you have, if it's showing different, because you must have opened the MIT ID Pune campus website. At Indore, I'm telling you, it's a part of animation only. Film and video design is a part of animation at the Indore campus, would be different at the Pune campus. VFX will also be taught in animation. Yes, absolutely. Okay, these are few of the questions that I think I have been able to answer all the questions right now. Or any more questions do we have?
Yeah, just 1 second. Is an aspiring UI UX designer to go for interaction design or communication design?
So, okay, I'll tell you something. Largely, people are opting for UI UX given the kind of placement it's giving, the kind of hype it has. Of course, interaction is likely towards that only, and communication separate. But I will not want to answer the question here, because if I am answering the question, I am kind of coloring you with my opinion. As I said, it is important for you students to choose for yourself in the foundation year. Now, I tell you, you have great, I mean, for me right now, I'll say communication is absolutely wonderful, interaction is wonderful, UI is wonderful. Why? Because if you talk about the certain checkpoints which says placement, absolutely wonderful, internship, absolutely wonderful, opportunity, wonderful. But then you need to understand what is it that you like to do. I can just tell you, if you want to opt for communication design, tell me, do you like to kind of communicate things? Do you like to really, are you an extrovert person where you like to really think of an idea and present that idea? Then yes, communication is something that you like to go for. Or, you're really one of those persons who says, I can present this in a better manner. Or you look at a product and you say, this product is not being told the way it should be. Or somewhere you feel the message could be told in a better manner. That's when you say, yes, I would like to go for communication design. But if I say, yes, you have a better package and a better opportunity, no, that's not a criteria. This is what I'm trying to tell you here, students, that understand what you like to do. Because after these 4 years, you will be working and your 20, 30 years will be in this field only. So if you do not like it, you only opt for it because at that point of time, there were better options or a better package. Trust me, 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, you're like, dude, I am not doing this. This is not helping me out. So you need to understand that what is it that you like to do the most. And in the foundation year, you will be given, trust me, a lot of opportunity. You will be asked to prepare campaigns, or you'll be asked to work on communication design, where you will understand that, okay, this is something I like, or this is something I don't like. And then you decide. Same, likewise, you will be doing for UI, UX, for interaction. So I can right now say, okay, interaction is doing wonderful. Right now, interaction is in the market, and people are talking about interaction design. You need to understand, because today there is a lot about consumers' happiness, about customers' wants, customers' likes and dislikes. So interaction talks about absolutely this: how many times is the customer interacting with a particular thing or in a particular process? How many interactions of customer are there? But then eventually I say, I don't want to know how many interactions are there. I don't get this entire point. So there is no point opting for it. Yeah, you have to choose something that you really are genuinely interested in.
Yeah, Purnima, just to build up on that, since Julie is asking, she's an aspiring UI UX designer. Okay, so should she go for interaction design or communication design? Let's say there are students who are a little confused. They know that communication design is the area, but they may want to keep options open. So do you think if they take communication design as a broader thing, that they can specialize or work in the UI UX field at a later stage?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll tell you, good point here. One of our students is a communication designer student, okay? And pass out now. And in the capstone project, he took UI UX as a project and worked on that, got a placement on UI UX with a package of 20 lakhs, and now is in UI UX. One thing that I'd like to again focus here on is that design does not have any boundaries. For one single topic that you take, you can also make a project on communication. You can also make a project on UI UX. And trust me, at no point you will feel, okay, this is something I cannot do, or this is something I cannot switch into. Largely, like I said, at our university, you have a blended education learning where you will be interacting almost all these specializations. You will be I'll say, but that does not mean that you will not get to understand about the other specializations that are present. And at the same time, if you say that UI UX is something I really like, you get into it. But if you want to do even a core communication design project, you can go ahead and do that. Of course, you'll have to complete your credits, you'll have to work, you'll have to put in that extra effort, and you can still opt and go ahead and choose and do that project. And related to this, there's a question by Sai which says, the synergy will be there where you get to interact with our faculties commonly. But there is a little difference when it comes to teaching. At the Pune campus, there are also limitations on the number of specializations. Okay, there is also a limitation on the number of seats in each specialization. While here at this campus, this isn't. And at the same time, like I said, it is more, I'll say, porous when you talk about doing projects, when you talk about doing your specializations. You might be a student of communication, but you can still take a project of any other specialization that you want, which might not be possible at the Pune campus. Because, like I said, the more open you are, the more free you are. I think freedom is the most important thing in design. The more you restrict yourself, the more you put embargo. Okay, this is something that you can't go beyond. That's why you're killing a designer. And also in design, there is no role, or I will say there is no procedure or steps. There are concepts, there are learnings. But if you say after A, there will be B, no. After A, they can be a C or they can be a D. So there isn't something that you have to really follow. And if a university is making you do that, that means there is some kind of, there's some learning which is not happening, which should actually happen. So in design, always understand that the more you go beyond, the more you're learning, the more you are going, outside your area of learning. Even participating in these cultural events, activities, going out kind of gives you ideas. So design learning is everywhere and learning is nowhere. So always understand this. Sample and we can tell you about it. If we have some sample papers, we'll try letting you know of them. If someone is selected for Indore campus,
yeah, just on those lines.
For admission.
Yeah, on those lines, Purnima. See, those who are students of DQ Labs, we'll be, as soon as MIT shares us any sample papers, if they do share it, we'll update that with you. Or even if they don't share, if those are not available, we will have some classes that are related to, that will prepare you for the MIT test, but it shouldn't be different from what you're preparing right now. It's as competitive, it is as complex. So whatever you're preparing for right now should help you get through. And yeah, so we'll take care of that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, students do not, like you, right now I just told you, do not follow a particular pattern. And of course, I understand there is this anxiety that, I don't know if I'll be able to clear the exam, and what will be coming, what will not be coming. But largely design is same. It is not very different. And like Dion said, we will of course try to share some papers, or we'll try to tell you the perspectives that would, or the questions that would likely be or have been coming in the past in design. But anything and everything is design. So when students ask me questions like, what should my portfolio be like? How should I prepare my portfolio like? I'm like, be as what you have been doing. Show every part of your work, even if it is making a video or anything. Like I said, it really talks about you as a person. Designers, it's very important that they are the most creative person, and they're only creative when they're more empathetic, when they're able to see and go beyond themselves. They're able to understand the other person's issue well. I think that's when you make the best designer. Yes, one important question here is, will I be eligible for the Pune campus? No. If you are selected for the Indore campus, it's only for Indore. And most likely this time, when the result is declared, it will be mentioned that you're eligible for Pune campus, Pune Indore campus, Pune Indore Shillong campus. It will be all mentioned. So you will be getting an idea which campuses are you selected for, or which campus have you been selected for. In terms of scope, which field in design shows most? So like I said, I think it is all about the choices that you, or it's about your interest and your likes. I might push you into animation design. I might say transportation is good. I might say communication is most upcoming. I might say industrial is great. And also with the dynamic that you see around yourself. I mean, no one knew about COVID and what COVID has brought along with itself. You cannot say specialization's future is the best, or the scope of this is best. I think it is all about understanding your likes and your interest area. If you like to do something, you will definitely be able to, bring something new with yourself every time. Even if something is dying out, probably your new ideas and new thought process will be able to bring back its life and your interest area. Because I might say right now animation is doing good, but animation requires excellent sketching skills. You might not have it, then you'll get worried. Oh shit, she told me that animation is good. I have to really focus on animation now. No, you have to focus on yourself, your likes, your dislikes, your interest areas, and you'll make a best career out of it. Trust me, mark my words, you'll definitely make a best career out of what you like the most. So every specialization in design is promising. Sai. Okay, Sai, you asked me a question about 2 different courses. So you must be checking the MIT Pune campus. At the Pune campus, we have film and video design and animation as separate thing. But at the Indore campus, it's a part of animation only. Oh, that is all I said. Sai, that's all. Okay. Is there a scholarship for foreign passport? Of course, the fee structure is different for NRI students. And the scholarship, when you're part of the university, of course, then you will be able to, then you will be eligible for the scholarships, which are like, if you are among the top 3 position holders, of course, you will be eligible for scholarships and the other scholarships. But before that, I am afraid you won't be a part, because you'll have to show certain things, which I'm sure you will not be eligible for. Yes, Manish, that is clashing with another schedule, and we will be rescheduling.
I think that on that note, I just checked the MIT website. Looks like the website has just been updated. All right.
Yes.
Like Purnima mentioned earlier, the exam is going to be on tentatively 2nd April, and the last date for application is February 28th. Yeah. So I'll share the link if you all want right now in this chat box, so that you all see
only
the
today
updated
this decision was
information.
taken, actually.
Sorry?
I said only today this decision was taken that we'll have to change the dates.
Yes. There are a couple of questions on YouTube that I'd like to bring up.
Yes.
So Art and Finance by RG is asking, is this approved by a competent authority, UI UX design? Is UI UX design approved by a competent authority? So I'm guessing, would you like to take that?
Yeah, we are UGC approved university. And of course, everything that we are running is absolutely approved by all the competitive authorities that you can think of. So don't be afraid, you'll have a proper degree and everything. So yes, we definitely are.
All right. One more question from Shiparna. Does animation come under communication design? I know you handled this before, but let's answer that again.
Yes, animation was a part of communication design earlier, but given the response that we are seeing around, we have made it a separate specialization. But yes, animation was a part of communication.
But I guess in communication also you will have some elements of animation as well, right? It will be
absolutely.
Okay, so those are the questions on YouTube. Yeah, final question we'll take from Ragini. Is there a scholarship for foreign passport holders?
Yes, I did say that for foreigners, of course, a fee structure is separate, but like the scholarships that we have, merit come means basis. So of course, means basis will not be a part, and merit, of course, if she has got in India, she has got a score of 90 plus. But then because she's she's holding a foreign passport, I understand her studies are from abroad. If not, and if she is, a merit student, 90% and above, of course, she'll be eligible for a scholarship.
What if she's studied in India? She's a foreign passport holder, but studied in India. Then would that be applicable?
Mostly should be, but I'll have to get back on this because we haven't got this kind of a query in the past. But we'll have to check. Yeah, but if she's a part of the university, and then of course, if she's one of the top 3 students, she'll be eligible for a scholarship.
Cool. Again, Ragini is asking about the scope of animation in India. All right. So when it comes to scope, I know Purnima's answered this a little earlier, but let me put it this way: in terms of scope, there really is scope for anything that you see, any form of design. There is tremendous scope in these areas, right? And that's purely because it's a situation of numbers. There's such few designers of India in India, and so much of scope, right? For example, UI UX design, there's just a handful, maybe 3, 4, 5,000 people graduating every year, but that 5,000 requirement will be an annual requirement in a small part of Bangalore, right? Or a small part of Pune, because there's so much of demand. So similarly, even animation, there are like companies in India that are world renowned when it comes to animation, VFX, these areas, right? They work on all movies, Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies, all these things, they work on Indian companies. So there is tremendous potential in this area. But then again, that does not mean there's no potential in any other areas. Even if you look at product design or anything, right? So, or fashion design for that matter. And I mean, our clothes are going to tell us the information about our health in future, right? So there's so much of scope when it comes to anything, right? So like Purnima mentioned earlier, focus on your strengths, focus on your interests, identify which area you'll probably be interested in. And if you can identify that in detail, that would be great, because then you can choose a course which you can specialize in. But if you're not able to identify, pinpoint your area of interest, that's okay. Take a generic program, take the industrial design program, or take the communication design program. Because like Purnima mentioned earlier, you can always move into those areas, right? She gave a few examples. So I hope that's...
And just lastly, I want to tell students that, foundation year, trust me, you will come to a small pinpoint where you'll say, okay, this is what I like. And when you talk about the scope, so if you talk about the scope of anything, so there is huge scope in India for everything. Animation is picking up very, very quickly in India. But like I said, animation is picking up, but it requires wonderful, or I'll say excellent, sketching skills. So only if you like to do sketching for like probably 5 hours together, you're doing sketching only. So yes, then you say, yeah, this is something I really like and I want to get into. And like Dion said, scope of every design is there in India, like every design field. Whether it is transportation, whether it is communication. Communication, I'll give you a simple example. Have you seen this ad of Dar ke aage jeet hai Mountain Dew? The entire campaign is done by communication designer. And what they want to communicate is that when you drink Mountain Dew, the kind of energy you have, from designing, from selecting the actor, from selecting the entire flow of the campaign, the bottle, the fluorescent color, the design of the bottle, everything, because it's about communicating a certain message through that drink. So when you look around yourself, you'll see everything a designer is involved in. Because right now, 1 hour session is too small to give you examples and tell you in detail. But trust me, you'll have entire 1 year for yourself as foundation year to decide what you want to and what you don't. Do not worry, focus on your strengths, and I'm sure you'll definitely get an answer.
All right. And the final question we'll take from Nidhi Ramesh. Can I switch from interaction design to user experience design in masters?
I'll say likely it is not possible. Like if you want to switch in your first semester and if you want to switch in your second semester, first semester, yeah, might be possible, but otherwise it will not be possible, because in masters, if you keep switching, then you'll not be able to become, you'll not be able to become expert in your particular specialization. And also you'll have to do a capstone project in the fourth semester. So you
Nidhi, could you probably elaborate, maybe unmute and elaborate on your question if we've understood that right? Are you talking about switching within the first year itself, or?
Yes. So what I was telling is, so basically UI UX, I don't think like in any other colleges, it's like of a different discipline, right? And so what I was thinking is, what if I am doing interaction design and later I realize that, I want to still go back to my user experience. Is that possible in the first year?
have you taken your UI UX in your bachelor's?
Bachelor. Yes.
Okay, so trust me, Nidhi, you will be doing a better option. You will be doing a better, I think, taking a better decision by opting interaction in your master's, because you've already learned about users. So in design, largely people change their masters. Whatever they've done in bachelor's, they kind of opt another one, because you will be, kind of experiencing both, and you will be understanding this in a better manner. So I am 100% sure you will not have to switch back to UX. But if need be, you can do that in your first semester itself. I'm sure the faculty will also be telling you that you stick with your interaction program. But then if you think you would want to in your first semester, you can do that. I hope I will answer your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay, so I think we've run out of time and we've covered all the questions. Purnima, thank you so much. For your time. Again, for all those who are here, I'm sharing the link to the MIT application form. If you've not filled it in yet, please do fill it in. Do note that the dates have been moved, all right? And click on that link, you'll reach the application form. We have, so from MIT, we have a specific person helping the DQ Lab students. Her name is Paridhi, right? Paridhi Sharma. So she's specifically there to help the DQ Lab students apply to MIT, or if in their application process they face any issue, please let us know. We'll share her contact details with you, and we can take it from there.
Also, any question that you have on your mind, students, you can always reach out to us. Anything that you feel that you're not very sure of, you can always reach out to us. It was lovely interacting with you all, and I hope you've been able to make sense out of this session, and you've been able to understand that as students, you need to make a conscious call, explore yourself, research more as much as you want, and I think you'll have your answers. So, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Purnima, and thank you to everyone who's attended. All right.
Thank you so much for this.
Right. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.